Good morning, friends. It's Julie. Welcome back to Row & Co Farms. We're in the Homestead kitchen again today, and I wanted to do a little canning project today. So normally we raise all of our own chickens here on the homestead, but I found a pretty decent deal on chicken at the grocery store yesterday at Aldi. This is not organic chicken. It's just regular, conventionally raised chicken. I know that's not what I normally get, but I wanted to go ahead. I got some packs of breasts, thighs, and drumsticks, and I want to just use some quart-sized canning jars and can up some of this chicken, like bone-in chicken, for future use. So what I'm going to be doing is adding a drumstick, a thigh, and a breast into each quart-sized jar, and then we're going to be pressure canning that. I'm guessing I'm going to get about 15 of these quart-sized jars, just based on the amount of stuff that I have in here. So we got breasts, we got thighs, they're pretty big size too, and we have drumsticks. You can do these bone in. The chicken breasts, I'm probably going to slice up into a couple of chunks when we put them in there, but they can up beautifully. I'm not going to be adding anything else into the jar, just the chicken. It makes its own like broth and juice in there. So when you take it out, you're going to be able to just pull it right off of the bone. There's going to be a little bit of that kind of broth. It may even gel up for you. So you're able to use that in your recipe later down the road. So I really like to have canned chicken on the shelf. It's a really easy, quick way to make dinner if you're in a pinch. And it's always nice to have some protein on the shelf. And this is going to be way more economical than buying just a small canned chicken, which right now a small container of canned chicken is almost $3. So I'm hoping that I will be able to can up my chicken for much, much less. All right, guys, I'm going to do some calculations when it's all said and done, and we'll see how much it costs us to do these quart jars of chicken. All right, let's get started. I've got everything set out already. We've got all of our jars. We've got our canning lids. We've got our funnel and jar lifter and my pressure canner back there, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and get set up and get going. It's really easy to can chicken. You really put it in the container raw, and you put the lid on and you put it in the pressure canner. I don't know any easier pressure canning method than that. You need to use clean jars, but they don't have to be sterilized or sanitized, because all that is going to happen while it's in the pressure canner, because it's going to be under such immense pressures and temperatures that it's going to kill any bacteria that are in there. But you should always wash your jars first, just to make sure there's no dust or debris or any like major stuff on your jars. But as far as like the sterilization part, that's going to happen inside the pressure canner. All right, guys, let's get started on our chicken. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. The amounts of stuff that I have is a little bit uneven, just because they didn't pack exact numbers, in each one of these. So we'll just kind of see how many jars we end up with at the end. I'm going to start off by just putting one of the chicken thighs into each of the jars. Here's our drumsticks. I usually take the bigger part and push it into the bottom. That way we have plenty of room to fit our chicken breast in there also. Okay, so I don't have enough drumsticks to go into each one of these. So I think what I'll do with my last jar is just double up the thighs in there. There we go. So these chicken breasts are pretty big. I think I'm going to just cut those into some chunks first. Now I'm just taking those chunks of chicken breast and I'm filling them into the jars and just fitting as much as I can up to 1-inch headspace. I'm just going to use a little bit of vinegar and clean all the rims of my jars just to make sure there's no little bits of chicken or fat or anything that could interfere with making a seal. The vinegar just kind of cuts through anything that could be on there. So I recently was approached by 4 Jars Canning Lids to be part of their affiliate program, and I was really excited about that because I have been using 4 Jars Canning Lids for about 6 months now, and I really, really like them. They're durable, they seal every single time, and they have a great silicone ring on the inside, and they're BPA free. So I'm really enjoying these canning lids. You can get them in boxes of 100, which, let's face it, that's what you need if you're doing a lot of canning. You don't need these little small packs. You want bigger packs, and so 4 Jars has nailed it with that. So if you're interested in 4 Jars Canning Lids, I'm going to leave a link down below for them. If you use my discount code, you'll get 10% off your order, and they're really a great company. They are a USA company, and they're moving their manufacturing into the US as well, and they should have that done by 2023. So take a look at those guys, and if you want some of these jarred lids, check them out below. So I'm going to go ahead and load these into the pressure canner. Like I said, these are just a raw pack, no liquid inside. You can add a little liquid if you wanted to, but I usually don't. You're going to see that there'll be about half of it will be filled with liquid when we're done. And yeah, we're going to be able to use that for our own broth. You could add spices to this if you wanted to. I tend to just leave mine plain. That way it's more versatile when I take it back out later. But you could totally season this to specific types of recipes if you wanted to do that. So you could make them like taco flavor, or you could use like some Italian seasoning or different things like that just to give it, some additional flavor. So I'm going to put these into my pressure canner. I'm able to double stack in here so I can get a couple of rows, and I need to add my water into here too. So when you start with cold items in your canner, like we're doing, you need to start with cold water as well. I need to get my plate that goes in here. So you just have this goes inside there to divide the different levels. I need to add my water first. Okay, everything is in there. Let me show you. So we're stacked all the way to the top. We've got our plate in the middle there and the rest of them on the bottom. So when you pressure can, you do not fill this up with water. You only add a few inches of water according to what your pressure canner calls for, but you're not filling this up like with a water bath canner. You just do a little bit, and then as this builds pressure, the pressure that's in there and the heat that's in there is what's going to, make these shelf stable. So go ahead. You definitely want to make sure that you check your seals, your gauges, and all those things before you get started, and make sure that they're oiled properly and lubricated properly. So I'm going to do that really quick as well. All right, guys, so we've got our pressure canner set up now. We're going to be processing these quart jars for 90 minutes. If it was a pint-sized jar, we would go for 75 minutes, but we are doing quarts of chicken. That is a 90-minute processing time. So yeah, we're letting our machine here get heated up. It's going to start venting in a few minutes. And then we will add our weighted gauge once we're ready for that. But we're not at that point yet. So yeah, we'll be ready in a few minutes. My pressure canner has been venting like this for 10 minutes, so we can go ahead and add our weight to it. We're going to be adding the 10-pound weight, and then we're going to let this slowly come up to the temperature that we want, which is 240 degrees at 10 pounds of pressure, and we'll do that for 90 minutes. Okay, so I know it's a little bit hard to hear. I just turned off the burner and we're just going to let this depressurize. It will take several hours for it to do that. Do not remove your weighted gauge. Just let everything slowly start to come down in temperature and pressure. Wait for this gauge to drop all the way to 0 before you even think about opening the top. All right, guys, so check it out. I told you this stuff would make its own broth, and it did. It's almost a full jar of broth. Some of these are even fuller than that. Let me bring you around and show you some of them. I mean, look at that. Beautiful bone broth in there. So this turned out to cost us, in each one of these jars is about 2 pounds of chicken, and each jar costs us $3.40 to purchase the chicken for it. I did not include the cost of the jars, the lids, or the rings because I had all those things already. Um, So $3.40 for 2 pounds of chicken. And currently, the small, like 12.5 ounce cans of chicken are going for about $3. So this is the equivalent of about 3 of those cans of chicken for a fraction of the cost. And it's going to taste great, and you're going to get wonderful bone broth in there too because you have this bone-in chicken. So great way to save money, guys, is to can your own chicken. So I can't wait to use this. We're going to let this sit on the counter for at least 24 hours because it is super hot. You can see it's still boiling in there. So we're going to leave that be. And tomorrow we will wipe all these jars down, clean them up really well, and we'll label them and put them on the pantry shelf. All of our 4 jars lids are intact. I'm waiting to see if they all seal. It looks like most of them have sealed already. Still waiting on, there's one that hasn't yet, but most of them have already sealed. So that is great news. We have, yeah, this one has not sealed, and this one has not yet sealed. But I don't see any reason why it won't. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today about how to can up your own chicken. It is nutritious, it is economical, and it is quick and easy when you need some food in a pinch. So I hope this inspired you to try it yourself, and I can't wait to see you guys next time here at Row & Co Farms.